Let's do something a little bit different today. Hello everyone, and welcome to Mental Health Mondays. This Monday, we're going to explore the origins of Halloween. And I am so glad you're here as always. My firstborn son was born on Halloween, so it's actually a special day for me. And I do enjoy the holiday as well. It's fun, it's quirky, and it's just cool. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. And in a way, for some of you, this may be good for your mental health. But first, I would like to remind you, as usual, to check out Anna Lamine's book, The Power of Misfits, and also check out The Learning Mind. Also, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. And I welcome all comments. So, tell me what you think, or just enjoy. So what do we really know about Halloween? Halloween, it brings jack-o'-lanterns, candy, and decorations. But do we really know exactly what Halloween is? Well, probably not, because it's bits and pieces of many different traditions and cultures. And it's become something of its own over time. The history of the beginning of Halloween is debated among many people, groups, and spiritualists. So you might say that Halloween has more than one origin. The historical origins are usually considered the absolute truth and beginnings of the traditions of this holiday, but then there are other absolute origins of this holiday. Halloween is a mixture, spanning across the entirety of Europe and later into the United States, and now many other places in the world. But let's go back really far and see what we can find. Around 2,000 years ago, Halloween began as a tradition. It was something entirely different. But it is part of the seed that created Halloween later on. Halloween, as we know it today, was the New Year's Eve in Ireland, the United Kingdom, and in northern France. And of course, the New Year was celebrated on November the 1st, marking harvest time and the entry into the dark seasons. The world was divided into light seasons, dark seasons, and as the seasons were changing, Halloween was the celebration, Samhain. Mind you, it wasn't considered dark for evil reasons, and only to symbolize the coming of the long winter. With the New Year being on November 1st, this meant Samhain was the name of the New Year's Eve on October 31st, the same day we observe as Halloween in modern times. This is the origin of the Wiccan observance of Samhain and their beliefs predating Christianity. It was believed that spirits of the dead could easily return to earth. The veil between the living and the dead was thin, or some believe completely open. During Samhain, the Celtic priests, or druids, built bonfires and wore costumes to resemble different animals. They also offered sacrifices and read fortunes. Samhain was considered a serious observation, not the holiday. Later on, the Romans had an influence about 43 years after the death of Christ. In the 400 years of Roman occupation, festivals and beliefs were combined between the two. Since the Romans worshipped the goddess Pomona, symbolized by an apple, and incorporated into the celebrations. This could be why we bob for apples, and this could probably be why we have candied apples. The Pope, after considering dates, officiated November 1st as All Martyrs' Day. It's a status of New Year's for many Europeans. Although it started as All Martyrs' Day, the Pope thought it would be befitting to include the saints as well. Thus you have All Saints' Day. In 1000 AD, November 2nd became All Souls' Day to commemorate the dead. This is where the names began to include other interpretations. All Saints' Day was also viewed as All Hallowmas, and the day before it originated Samhain, as known as All Hallows' Eve, eventually becoming Halloween. Halloween in America came later on. At first, Halloween was only observed in Maryland and the southern states. New England was excluded in this, of course, because of its Protestant beliefs. But as various European countries trickled into the colonies, they began to blend beliefs with indigenous peoples of the Americas, and the traditions of Halloween spread rapidly. As large amounts of Irish immigrants flooded the colonies, Halloween became a common tradition. You see more bonfires, costumes, and stories about the dead in the States. During the 1800s, trick-or-treating was first introduced. People were first encouraged to treat Halloween as a community event, void of any ghosts or goblins or witches. At the turn of the century, people removed anything frightening from the holiday, and they focused on parties and parades with festive costumes. By the 1950s, Americans used trick-or-treating as a way to stop vandalism, which had sprung up from rigid rules about Halloween dress, Halloween traditions. Trick-or-treating seemed to appease many people and worked great for children. Of course, over time, spooks and ghouls returned, with haunted houses, hay rides, jack-o'-lanterns. This framed the community with an otherworldly glow. Halloween became a creepy good time with treats and festivities. In its completeness, a new American tradition began. All Souls' Day is interesting. Since the veil between the living and dead was thinned or opened between All Hallows' Eve and All Saints' Day, people thought it wise to leave their homes and dress in costumes in order to not be recognized by the spirits. This is another origin of the Halloween costume. In addition, they left little trays of food on their porch steps to appease the spirits. And if you're ever wondering about why food is left out, it's for this reason. This is part of the spirituality. In Mexico and Spain, the holiday is called De los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. The celebration is designed to honor the dead in a 3-day vigil, starting from October the 31st. During this time, candles are lit and decorations are positioned to help the dead find their way home. On this last day, relatives of the deceased have a picnic in the cemetery near the gravestones. They also clean and trim the grass that has overgrown. They clean the stones. They decorate it. They bring gifts, and it's beautiful. Trick-or-treating can also be dated back to England, when hungry people went from home to home offering prayers for loved ones in exchange for something called soul cakes. So combining all the aspects of why we go trick-or-treating, we develop the modern tradition. Now we just do it for fun and candy, it seems. So what is Halloween like today? Well, we mentioned fun and candy. This holiday is altogether different. Although Halloween has deep roots and many branches in its origins, it still changes every year. And as you know, many horror movies sprang from Halloween-inspired origins and traditions from ancient to modern influences. Right now, the Halloween movie is very popular, and this is one of them. One of the thousands of movies. Now, Halloween is seen as a much anticipated time to carve pumpkins, pick out costumes, and prepare for parties. It's not much different from the festivities that started in the 50s. But now we've incorporated ghouls and ghosties back into our Halloween. And just about any horrid and gruesome thing you can think of. While there are those who do not celebrate the tradition, there are plenty who do. And it's estimated that 1/4 of the candy sold in America is sold on Halloween. Here are a few Halloween symbols and where they originated. The colors black and orange are seen as Halloween colors. And here's why. Black was seen as death. Orange represented the fall harvest. Bats are often associated with Halloween as well. And the reason for this is because during some of the earliest Halloween celebrations, they were having bonfires. And of course, the bonfires were meant to light the way for the dead or to ward off evil spirits. Well, when we have fires, we have a lot of insects that hover around the lights. And where you have insects, you have bats. It's like a bat buffet. Speaking of bonfires, as I said, bonfires are a larger version of what we use candlelight for now. They were different. They're still different, but yet they also had some of the same reasonings behind them. Bonfires, candlelight, any sort of light was used to ward off evil spirits, but also used to guide the dead to the afterlife. Black cats have been symbols of Halloween also for a long time, but it's unfortunately not for good reasons. In the Middle Ages, black cats were seen as symbols of the devil. And during the witch hunts, many people were accused of witchcraft based on having a black cat as a pet. They were considered familiars. Unfortunately, some people harm black cats just because of their history, but they are just cats. Carving jack-o'-lanterns. This is a very, very interesting Halloween tradition. The tradition originated in Ireland where locals carved turnips instead of pumpkins. So how did carving turnips turn into carving pumpkins? Well, it's a long story, but here's the short of it. The tradition was allegedly based on the legend of a man named Stringy Jack. Okay, Stringy Jack, he kept trying to catch the devil, and he caught him. And when he caught him, he got the devil to promise him that he wouldn't go to hell. So when he died, heaven didn't want him either. So Stringy Jack had a problem, so he had to wander the earth as a spirit forever. But the devil gave him a burning coal inside a carved turnip, so that this little lantern could guide his way. Well, when these Irish traditions came to the States, over time, they changed a little bit. Pumpkins were seen to be more suitable for this purpose. So pumpkins became jack-o'-lanterns, named after Jack of the Lanterns, Stringy Jack. So many of these traditions are very old, and there are other traditions. So whatever you do for Halloween, I want you to be safe, have a good time, and just remember this on Mental Health Monday. Protect your mental health. If you don't want to go out on Halloween, that's fine. Stay in, watch some movies, and if you don't like Halloween, that's also fine. Do something else. Celebrate the fall season. This is an all-inclusive environment, and I wish you a happy Halloween. I wish you good mental health, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, you guys. This is my puppy dog. This is my puppy dog, Chip. Hey. Say happy Halloween. Kisses.